How are you all doing? Good morning, Vitali, Linus, Bill. How are we all doing, members? Morning, Mumo, Paul, Jurch, Figinia, Ismet. How are we all doing? It's Wednesday morning, pound is collapsing. Always good when the pound collapses. So today we've just had the inflation numbers in, which is why the pound is collapsing. So we'll go through that in a moment. If you're watching on replay, stick some comments in the section below if you've got any questions for anything we cover. You will see a new addition above my head. We have a countdown so that I do not miss the members streams at 9 o'clock. And we'll have those countdowns in the members streams as well, because I'm trying to keep them to an hour. But we got a little countdown clock now. So it's exciting, isn't it? Might align that to left, actually. We'll see. Right. So, yes, morning. FTSE off to the races this morning. Yeah, it will be. Long FTSE. As long as this pound continues to collapse, the FTSE will probably rally. So, although we have hit ADR already today, there's no reason why this shouldn't really continue, because as you can see, we've overshot inflation by a long way. I posted in the Discord group this morning. I've been talking about this for what seems like months. The first time we hit 2% inflation in the UK, and Bailey did a U-turn on what he said he was going to do by not dropping interest rates. I said that's a massive mistake, because yes, we are expecting a bounce, but you can't not drop interest rates just because one part of inflation is sticky, and a part that was expected to drop, which it did. And that is the outcome. Now we've overshot the 2% target, which means that the interest rates that we're sitting on are way too high at 5%. Should have been down by now. Look at the euro. Yeah, look at what the euro did. They dropped fast, and they dropped hard because they saw inflation target being hit. We've now overshot that. Hasn't updated yet, but we're now at 1.7. Our interest rates are nearly 1.5% higher. They're also going to drop by another 0.5% coming up. So we're on the back foot again. We were on the back foot going up with interest rates because they delayed too long. Now we're on the back foot coming down because we're going to get disinflation. So be careful. I put a notice in Discord this morning. Be careful trying to mean revert these. There's two things happen when you get ADR hits. One, these percentages here. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat this morning. I think I'm getting a cold again. I've just got over a cold, and I woke up this morning feeling like I've been night nursed, and I've got a sore throat again. So anyway, so one or two things happens when we hit these ADR levels and these percentages. So these percentages here are the probabilities of price going beyond that level, i.e. how many times a year on average we exceed this line. Yeah. It doesn't mean the odds of it bouncing are 88% in the case of 150 ADR. It means that the odds of it not going beyond it are only 12%. So it's 88% chance it won't go beyond. Yeah. So what it means is it can accumulate down here and then continue the next day in that direction, and then accumulate and continue. Yeah. So be careful trying to do mean reversion when you get a fundamental news shift, because this is way bigger drop than we were anticipating, meaning that the inflation being that low will force interest rates to come down quicker than anticipated. So the market will be offside on this. They will have been factoring in the fact that the pound is going to come down at some point. Now they're factoring in they've not gone fast enough, so they need to add more shorts, or rather pull more out of the pound and put it into other higher interest rate currencies. So continued drop. Days like this are very hard to predict. Obviously, everything's hard to predict. You can never tell what's going to happen. But when you get a much lower than anticipated number like this, you quite often will see 200 ADR days. So I'm out of my pound CAD, unfortunately. This morning, I've got my EA set up, or I had my EA set up. I changed it this morning. to automatically get me out a 0.75% profit, so $750-ish. So as soon as that news hit this morning, I quickly opened my VPS and I tried to change the target to a much bigger number, and I didn't quite manage it with pound CAD. So I'm out of pound CAD short. The pound odd, however, I did manage to catch in time. So I've changed the target on this to 1500. So if it gets to 1.5%, it'll auto close it. But I'm targeting basically on the pound odd short here. So if we get to 175 ADR, at some point it will exhaust, and there is a probability of it pulling back a portion before it continues. So I've put my target at 175 ADR-ish, which is around about this low. It's basically the previous day's low. So it's the low from Monday, so weekly low. So I'm anticipating some kind of support at the weekly low. However, they will probably pull that support now because the bias is probably going to change. Euro pound I've also got out of this morning. There you go. So again, that hit target 125 ADR. That was 0.75%. I didn't manage to catch that one in time either. So yeah, be careful. So obviously Euro pound is 125, Euro pound odd 125, pound New Zealand 125, pound Swiss and pound yen not there yet. So that's on its way, and the pound yen on its way. So we need to see what the market reaction is to this. Obviously, it's much lower than anticipated. Because this is also a yearly figure, it has even more impact, because the yearly figures, as you can see by what we got with the Canadian dollar, yeah, the yearly figures are usually very accurate because we've got all the monthly figures and all the quarterly figures released, which means that it's actually quite easy to forecast an annual one. When they get the annual wrong, it's quite a ball drop, basically. So that having not just missed, but missed by 0.2% is pretty bad. So as you can see this morning, the futures market paired its odds on rate cut. So we're now down to 45 basis points by the year end instead of 37. So more likely looking towards 2 cuts rather than 1. My personal feeling on it is more likely Bailey will turn around and go, screw this, we're dropping 0.5% in the next meeting. So rather than spreading it over a November, December, have we got an October cut? Can't remember if we got an October cut. Yeah, we have. It's next week. Oh, no, that's CAD. It's Bank of Canada. I was looking at Bank of England. I'm not sure we've got an October cut. We've got a September, haven't we? November. Yeah. So November cut, 7th of November. So I think it's quite possible and probable that instead of going 0.25%, we may go 0.5%. So the thing that I'm waiting now to hear is Bailey talking, and Bailey basically outlining, or any Bank of England board member outlining their potential thoughts on how they're going to handle this. So we've got tomorrow the monetary policy report hearings coming out. So they may use the hearing report to say what, or give sort of intention as to what they're going to do. But the difference in speed of drop from here will be 0.25% or 0.5%. So if they decide they're going to drop 0.5%, or worst case scenario, which sometimes they do in central banks, is go, do you know what? We know we're going to drop in November. We're going to put an emergency drop in October. The Fed threatened that last month. They didn't do it. So there is a possibility that Bailey might hold a press conference, emergency press conference, and say, in light of this, we've decided we're going to drop 0.25% now, and then we will review what happens in November. So we just have to keep our ears peeled as to what's going on. Ears peeled? Is that a thing? Eyes peeled? Our ears to the ground. You know what I mean. So yeah, we'll be watching very closely for anything that comes out of the Bank of England from here. So just be careful trying to long it. I haven't switched the EA onto short only mode at the moment. I'm trading H4 RSI extensions. So as you can see at the moment, I'm quite safe. Yeah. So pound odd, it's miles away. Pound CAD getting closer. So I will keep a close eye on this. If it continues to drop all day, then I will probably switch to short only mode on the EAs. Pound yen, I'm not trading anyway. Pound New Zealand and pound US. So pound US is actually getting fairly close as well. 125 ADR just hit on the pound US. So yeah, so basically, just be careful with that because we knew the market was factoring this in. The other thing, especially with the pound US, you've got to be aware of is obviously the US interest rates are going to drop as well, which means that that can go that way. Because if the US drops hard, even though the pound is dropping, it will probably still pop. So things like the pound US and the euro pound, there is potential because these are both bearish. You can trade it in both directions. So some of them you may be able to mean revert, but just be aware this is a fundamental shift. Yeah, so careful. Other news overnight, not a lot. A lot of talk out of Japan. So US dollar yen, we hit the 150. I missed it. I put this line in. I put this alarm in. I posted in the Discord group on Monday. Careful, everyone. We're about to hit the 150 level, the intervention level. It hit it in Asia this morning, and I missed it. So I was tempted to put a pending order there, but I didn't because I hate pending orders because they blow through pending orders and you just go into drawdown instantly. But so yeah, so watch this level. We have got definite selling at the 150 intervention level. Whether that holds or not, we'll have to wait and see. We've got US news coming out today. So this afternoon, no, we haven't. Sorry, it's tomorrow. US news coming out tomorrow with retail sales and unemployment. So there's potential for that to move tomorrow. So apart from that news-wise today, there's nothing else apart from Lagarde speaking a little bit later on. Overnight news, I was looking to see if there's anything out of Japan basically to do with intervention and them saying we're watching FX closely, we're undesirable to go above 150, blah, 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 as they usually do. But they didn't say anything. I just saw something about Korea fly past. South Korea's August. Oh, no, it's okay. This is just an M2 money supply. There's the M2 money supply. If you were in the fundamentals member stream on Monday, you remember I mentioning M2 money supply. It's a very key leading indicator, M2 money supply, because if you print money, it devalues it. So if you are increasing your money supply, printing more, it means that it becomes less valuable. Yeah. So that's why M2 money supply is one of the most important things that you watch in fundamentals, but we don't get reports on it in the news. So. Right, so there we go. So there's news covered. That's today. Quite an exciting morning so far. So there's nothing else to look at today from a news perspective. Tomorrow's a fairly big day. So we've got unemployment rates for the Aussie overnight. We've then got tomorrow afternoon the Euro rate. So they're looking for a 0.25 decrease tomorrow. We should get that. However, they've overshot inflation. So it might be worth listening to what Lagarde says later. I doubt she'll say anything that is going to influence it, but there is a possibility they could go a little bit bigger, yeah, because they've overshot their target. 3% is still quite high, so that has got potential to put fly in the ointment tomorrow. And obviously we got the US tomorrow, and then we got the ECB press conference, was where she's going to give the important stuff. And then obviously we've got monetary policy report hearings released at some point tomorrow as well. So it's a massive day. Australian, Euro, US, pound. Big potential moves all over the place tomorrow. So it'll be a good one tomorrow. Short the DAX. Still long FTSE. So yeah, FTSE today, depending on whether we get sustained selling on this pound, obviously has got potential to break out this triple weekly high. So we're in a very tight range here. Obviously, you can see we are expanding upwards. So it will probably start to run out of steam when it breaks that high, because there's going to be a lot of orders short up there. But we'll wait and see. It's struggling a little bit at the moment, but target up here is achievable, because if they break out of there and then run out of steam, should at least hit that TP. Then we got that high there. If we break that high, which is going to take some going because it's 175 ADR, it's clear air up to the monthly highs. But I mean, to get there today is going to take a big move, steam train, which is unlikely. Morning, George. Morning, JC. So those are your ADRs today. Obviously, there's a lot going on with ADR, but it's all about the pound this morning. Morning, Travel. You've changed your name because I couldn't pronounce the other one. Euro Odd is your other ADR today. So we've also got an ADR hit on the Euro Odd. So Australian dollar, big hit to the upside this morning. However, be careful. So whenever you see any, specifically Australian and New Zealand ADRs, yeah? If you see any ADR hits for the Aussie and the New Zealand, always double check, because your broker loves to spread the Aussie and New Zealand, yeah? Because the market opens as the spread hits. So they basically go and spread you at the open, always Aussie, New Zealand. They are the worst spreading pairs in existence, which is why I have my filters set to do that and not trade any time in this area, because obviously spreads. So this one obviously gapped down, and then we've pushed up and we've hit ADR basically to the pip, but it's because of this gap down. So different people, different brokers are going to have different readings on this. So just be careful. That is an ADR hit. Obviously, if you took it, well done, but I was asleep. So the reversal alert, if you were using the market reversal alerts EA, you didn't get in until there. If you were using the position trader EA, you got in there. So I've just got this other moving average on my chart. Let me just get rid of that. That's something I was playing with. So that's your other ADR today. Apart from that, it's all pound. So we'll watch this pound and we'll see if we get continued and sustained selling on it. We got a whacking great propulsion gap going in. Yeah, fundamental propulsion gaps. You know, they do get filled. Sometimes the market will come back and completely do that. Other times it just goes. So we'll have to wait and see. Whether you get an A-shaped or a V-shaped recovery on a news event, totally random. But we'll wait and see what happens. RSIs today, we've got the Euro Pound. Obviously, it's an RSI extension to the upside because of the news. So that's 4-hour RSI extension. Oh, to the downside, sorry. I was looking at that thinking, how's that hit? That was obviously down there. So, you know, if you did take an RSI long, well done, which I did. Well done, me. So I'm out of that. Not because of obviously standard RSI movement, just because of the news today. So, but why it moves, who cares? Pound odd, obviously short at the moment. So that was an RSI extension to the upside, which got into, that was a beautiful entry. Look at that entry. I got in literally 15 minutes before the news. Thank you, EA. And Pound New Zealand obviously extended to the upside, now not. So all these basically have all played out. So there you go. This morning in the members room, yesterday we covered ADR reversal strategy for prop. And we came up with something pretty good for prop, which is obviously worth pursuing. But today in the members streams, we are planned to do hedging. So what I was going to do today is that one. Creating and testing a hedging strategy and looking at the pros and cons. I haven't managed to get the EA built to do the automated testing of this. Harold's already in there. Look, wrong stream, Harold. You're not even in here, are you? Or did you post that yesterday? Anyway, so that's what we were going to do this morning. I haven't actually managed to get the EA built, so it's actually quite complex. So what I might do this morning is fast forward to currency correlation and exposure, and make sure I focus on getting that EA testing done today for the hedging EA, and then we'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, but we'll go into the live room this morning, into the members stream, and we can discuss what you want to do. We can look at the theory of hedging, which is probably not a bad thing to do, because if we look at the theory, actually, yeah, no, let's do that. That's what we'll do this morning. So what we'll do this morning in the member stream is we will look at the theory of hedging and the different types of hedging that can be done. And then we can discuss, and then I will go and build out models to test everything that we've discussed. That's a good idea. And then Friday is tweaking this week's ADR and hedging strategies. So that gives me tomorrow and today to build out the EA, and then Friday we can do thorough testing on the hedging strategy that we build. That's what we're doing today, 9 o'clock. Harold. Morning, Baggy. How are we doing? So Nick Sean is good. Is that a joke, Linus? I don't know if you obviously haven't been in the streams when I've been discussing the man with the blue Porsche, yeah, and how he makes his money and the strategies that he teaches you. If you'd like to discuss Nick Sean, we'll do that in the private stream. I see you're subscribed. Well, I'm subscribed to him, yeah. Only to see what he's up to, yeah. I'm not going to comment. If you like him, great. But understand, the blue Porsche he owns has never been made by trading income. He sells courses for thousands of pounds. Okay, that's all I'll say. And his strategies in his courses, when you buy them, tell you that they don't work. So basically, he opens his course with, "Thanks for buying my course on how to double an account. This will blow your account. And this is how you do it." And he's openly honest. "Thank you for the 1,000. And now I'm going to tell you how to blow your account." Good trader. I won't go any further. But if you want to discuss it, we'll do it in the members room. US dollar CAD, Virginia. Yeah. So, US dollar CAD yesterday, we had a turn. So, obviously, this has been parabolic for 9 days now. So, this thing's really struggled to find any resistance, any sellers. So, it's a bit of a weird move. To me, it's a pullback leg. Yeah. So, we double bottomed. But I still think this is obviously bearish because the US is going to be dropping those rates. So yesterday was the first down day we've had in 2 weeks. And it was a big exhaustion. So for those of you that were in the members stream about price action, reading price action, what a candlestick is telling you, there you go. So what we're looking for today is a 3-bar reversal. So I'm hoping today we get that. If we do, that is the pattern that signals the next leg down. So, yeah, so hopefully today will confirm yesterday's price action. So if we get an inside bar today, that is still good because it's indecision on the bear. And then we've got the news tomorrow, which could be starting that move down. So, so yesterday, as you can see, I've got two. They're not drawdown. These are not aggressive drawdown control trades. What I did was, rather than doing aggressive drawdown control on this, because it's such a steam train, I decided just to put normal size positions on, but tighter together to try and give a little bit more of an aggressive exit on the positions. So as you can see, my average is now within ADR, which is great. So I stopped out, unfortunately, and took a loss of, I think it was 1,100 over 2 days. Yeah, so I took a 1.2 hit 2-ish% loss. I've made 1.5 back today, so it's fine. And I've got 0.5% sitting there ready to take on the pound odd, but I'm not going to take it yet. So yeah, I got stopped out a couple of times on sort of aggressive drawdown control positions. But yesterday we had the reversal alert on the hourly. So that's the first reversal alert on the hourly time frame we've had, apart from that one there, since this thing started its parabolic run. Sorry, no, we had one there as well, but that was news. So with the last 2 days, we've seen a little bit of bearish price action coming in, but it was confirmed yesterday. So we didn't even get a retest. Well, we did kind of there. So today we've got obviously fairly decent bearish price action in, but there's a possibility of pushing back up into here today, and then seeing if we definitely have got sellers. You can see there's a little propulsion move there, followed by another propulsion. So this whole area here is propulsion. They've added back into the propulsion in Asia today, and so far in London it looks like we're adding again. So if we break yesterday's low, that basically on a higher time frame is going to give you your M pattern reversal retest. Yeah, not much of a retest, but as close as you're going to get to it. So then we're on the retracement leg and the profit take leg on that. So it's going to do one of two things from here. Either we're putting in, this is kind of the same level, double bottom low. Either we're putting in a market structure short and we're going to make a new lower low, or we're going to pull back on an attempt to test last month's high. With both of these being bearish, because they're both dropping interest rates, both of those outcomes are possible. So it depends which of these is the weaker of the two currencies. So if the Canadians suddenly decide to tank the currency, it's going to go up. Yeah. If the US are tanking the currency at the same time as the Canadians are tanking the currency, it's probably still going to go up. Because it depends, but it depends who tanks it harder, if you see what I mean. Yeah. So always with FX, you've got two parties at play. If they're both bearish, you tend to get more of that type of price action, because a bear against a bear or a bull against a bull equals a range, because there's no fundamental bias in either direction. When you've got both bearish, if one of them drops rates faster than the other or has more bad news than the other, that tends to be what happens. So it's all about news, all about fundamentals, which is what we covered this week. So it's a case of waiting to see what happens with the news tomorrow, really. But we have that nice move started down yesterday from the Canadian news, and the Canadian news was slightly bearish. So you would expect, with slightly bearish news on the Canadian, for the Canadian to weaken, which would give the US an edge over the Canadian dollar. But that didn't happen. We had a spike up and then a complete retracement. But that's just because this market is exhausted. There's just nobody left to sell. Yeah, they've bought everything. There's nobody else going like that. So they will start to scale out of their longs. As they scale out of their longs, the sellers will smell blood and the sellers will add, and that will make that move happen. There's climbing up the stairs, falling down the elevator shaft move that we see all the time. So hopefully this 4-hour and hourly reversal alert in the last 24 hours is the start of that. What I've decided to do, I've got TPs set for these positions here at break even. So what I will do is I will exit those two at break even. That one will then be in profit. And then I will do DD control using the profit from those two down here just to reduce the lot size down. But I suspect we're going to move further. So that is a 71.9 retracement. So that's what I'm targeting, a deep retracement. Yeah. So this area here, 61.8, 71.9 is a deep pullback. So I'm thinking basically if we are going to go long, we're going to pull back deep before we go. If this is, as I suspect, a bear move, it's going to go down through that level anyway. So that's my plan on it. We're watching that over the next 24 hours. So news on that is tomorrow afternoon, 1:30. We've got retail sales and unemployment. So negative numbers across the board. Kiss the US goodbye. I'll be hitting target. Positive numbers doesn't necessarily mean a bull move. Yeah, look at the Canadian dollar yesterday. Yeah, that was the bullish news yesterday on the Canadian. Sorry, the bearish news on the Canadian. Yeah. Market's exhausted. It's had enough. It's been selling the Canadian dollar for over a week, so it's needing to get out of some of it. So yeah, there you go. That's US dollar CAD. That's really all I've got for you this morning. Look at my countdown, 30 minutes. The movement so far this week hasn't been particularly exciting, apart from that Canadian dollar move that we've had, which is long overdue, and now obviously the pound move. So it's just a case of waiting this week and seeing what happens. We've got news coming on the US tomorrow, but everything else pretty much flip-flopping around at the moment. So, you know, Aussie, New Zealand, we opened there. You know, we've not really gone anywhere. So most of the pairs haven't really gone anywhere much. We've broken out last week's low on the Aussie US, but everything else is pretty much flip-flopping, apart from the pound and the Canadian dollar. So the yens at the moment, again, we are still stuck on all these yens sideways. Still no idea where this thing's going. The fact that we've bounced off of the 150 potentially means that we may see that coming back down again. However, I'm loath to short it. I was really torn between setting a pending at that level. I put an alert there and I posted when the alert hit. But the thing that worries me about holding this short is the swaps. If it does go bull and it stays bull for weeks, you just end up hemorrhaging cash on swaps because it's negative swaps. Much better to long it. But, you know, after that intervention, I can't see the yen weakening much more. So we'll see. But, yeah, there is an opportunity there potentially for that to happen, especially if we get bearish news on the US dollar tomorrow. So, but yeah, that's about it for today. Anybody got anything else they want to look at? Let me know. Pound odds, anything I'm really going to get banked today on top of what we got. I'm not doing any DD control with this at the moment. I'm just waiting to see what happens with the US news tomorrow. We've had a lovely reversal on that. So lovely bearish price action going in today. Look. Hey, everybody from the members stream. What's that? Euro US dollar. Tweets are tops, by the way. Falling star. Shooting star. You can call it a falling star if you want to, yeah. But remember, what pair was that? US dollar CAD, wasn't it? Right, remember what I said about shooting stars and where they do not make sense. Yeah. That's a good one. Those are bad ones because they are sitting there. The location of that candlestick is important, not the candlestick itself. However, tweezer tops are important in a range, yeah. So tweezer tops are important. Sellers are winning today. Euro US dollar. So Euro US obviously is going to be impacted tomorrow by the news massively. Yeah. So I'm long at the moment on this. Not my favorite position to be right now. We've got this propulsion gap and this little low retest here, which we hit yesterday, and we've now just bowled straight through it today. So this area here and this monthly low, which is 225 ADR and ADR today, I'm hoping we're going to get some kind of reaction at. My next position is going on at ADR today, but I'm not happy in this position at all. So tomorrow's news, we've got the euro dropping interest rates, bearish. Yeah, we've got US news coming out. If that comes out as bullish for any reason, that's bearish euro US dollar. So there's two potential news events that could impact this in a negative way tomorrow. However, the euro rate we've known for a long time is going to be dropping. So as you can see, the market is factoring in, has already factored in. Remember, again, going back to the stream about fundamentals we did in the members streams, the market factors this move in before it happens. So if you look at all the euro pairs, we've had decent drop already. The last week or so we've been bearish. So the market is factoring in already that the euro is going to drop. So it's a case of, apart from the euro pound obviously today, but it's a case of what are we going to see tomorrow, basically. So unless Lagarde comes out with anything less than 3.4 tomorrow, this has got a chance of a pop. So negative numbers from the US and Lagarde giving us the 3.4 could easily send this flying up to ADR and above. So we'll see what happens with it. But we've got a couple of good resistance areas, support areas coming up. We've got this basic accumulation here and here. So that one there is around ADR, and that's 225. So this could go into DD for 5 positions, possibly. But for that to happen would require US dollar strength. So we'll see. And I don't think we're going to get it, but we'll see what happens. Coffee? Yes, I will be getting a coffee. US dollar Swiss. I need a lemsip. US dollar Swiss at the moment is just flagging around up here. We've had a reversal alert out of last week's high. But it's just the Swiss franc at the moment isn't really doing anything. It's very, very, very neutral at the minute. The markets are still watching the Middle East very closely. So if I was going to be in the Swiss franc, which I'm not at the moment, or am I? I thought I took a US dollar Swiss. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, US dollar Swiss. I took a short on this on Monday, if you remember. But I said, as we got into profit on it, I'm going to break even this because I don't really want to be overexposed on the US dollar, which I had too much exposure on. We came and hit the propulsion and bounced out of it. So I'm out, but I would rather be short than long because obviously with what's going on in the Middle East, especially now the US has given Israel an ultimatum on weapons. So if they do not up the humanitarian aid, the US is going to pull support. If the US pulls support, Israel's surrounded and they're going to be in trouble. So they've got to get this humanitarian aid up. If it does kick off and escalate because the US pull out, the Swiss franc is going to fly because everyone's going to pull money out of stocks and drive it into safe havens, which is the Swiss. So there's possibility of a power up on this one. But obviously this is going to be affected by news tomorrow. So obviously this propulsion move here is holding very nicely. They're adding into this. And obviously we're breaking the highs. So market structure is long. Unless it all kicks off in the Middle East. Thanks, Lee. Thumbs up. Hey, John, you're in the wrong place. Give us a thumbs up on the stream if you like it. So yeah, so that's really all I've got today. Morning, Neo. You're late. I've been going for 39 minutes. That's really hard to do back to front. I'm pointing right, but I'm pointing left. Morning, Shalk. Just want to know, how do we contact you if we want an indicator programmed or automated? I don't do programming for people, but come into the member streams. If you come into the member streams, you get all the content in the member streams, and we test EAs and build EAs for members. So if you want a EA built based on an indicator, come in the member streams. Tell us all about it. You get access to the Discord channel where we discuss stuff as well. So you can stick it in there. We can look at the strategy, analyze it, build it, test it, and then you can either throw it away, or we'll go, holy crap, you found the Holy Grail, and we'll develop it. That's what we do, basically. Try and disprove strategies. This job really is about disproving the internet. So 99% of everything you see on the internet to do with trading is just smoke and mirrors. Talking about the blue Porsche guy, yeah, I've built everything that I've ever found. That's what I do. I just build and automate strategies to see if there is an edge. And 99.9% of everything I find has no edge long term. Short term, yeah. Which is why we were talking yesterday about ADR strategy, because that works long term and short term. But yeah, stuff has short term edge when the market is right for the strategy, but long term doesn't hold up. And that's what back testing and strategy robustness testing is all about, is disproving what you find. If it proves you wrong, brilliant. You know, and there's a lot of strategies that I have found which have very good long-term edges. Somebody contacted me in one of the members, about a daily strategy that he's found. I've got daily strategies coming out of my backside which are profitable. Yeah, there are bucket loads of them. There's papers written on them. There's so much written on them. My daily strategies, I have got loads, and they all have lovely long-term edges. If you just take the angle of a moving average on the daily chart and trade in that direction, you will make money. Yeah, but lower time frames, 90% of that doesn't work, because the market is random. Yeah, but it has a long-term bias, and daily candlesticks show you the long-term bias. So strategies on higher time frames work well, but lower time frames. And if you take a higher time frame strategy and try and apply it to a, this is where this whole fractal thing, yeah, the market's a fractal, everybody says, and I say it as well, they are fractal. So what happens on higher time frames happens on lower time frames. So it would make sense if you take something that works on a higher time frame and put it on a lower time frame, it will work. It doesn't, because the randomness down here is higher than the randomness up there, which is why it doesn't work. Anyway, where can I find the members area? Just on the, if you go to the live room, I'll put a link. It's just YouTube, basically. So it's literally just YouTube. So go click that button, takes you to the YouTube channel. I'm already a member. But if you just go to the home page, there's a join button. There. It'll be somewhere anyway. All the videos have got it. Look at, watch any video. Watch this, like you're watching this live stream now. There's a join button here. Look. That's all it is. It's just YouTube. YouTube. Can you go over New Zealand dollar, US dollar fundamentals? Got 17 minutes left. I like my timer. That's good, isn't it? New Zealand US, I've got longs on at the moment. 4-hour RSI extension from last week. So we got extended and embedded down here on the 4-hour. So this massive drop. So this is part of this US dollar rally that we've had. The New Zealand dollar's dropping as well, because obviously the interest rate drop that we got. So fundamentals on it at the moment are that short against a short. They're both dropping interest rates, but the speed of drop is much more variable on the US. So this does have potential to go up as well. So but weakness in the US is more likely, and obviously with the US dollar, because the US dollar is the world's currency, the vast majority of transactions in FX markets go through US as well. You tend to find when it weakens faster and harder. So everything goes up against the US when it goes into a bear run. But yes, I've only got a couple of positions on it, but it's not really gone anywhere this week at all. So got in here. Second entry was there. So I'm averaged in at 125 ADR, but we've just sat there, haven't we? Since first entry, we had one news event and we've sat there for 6 days. So nice price action gone in at last week's low look. Hey, everybody from the members stream. I keep saying this. What's that? So yeah, looking good based on that for longs. So yeah, hopefully. Didn't quite get my... that's annoying, actually. Didn't quite get another position on. So it pierced through my entry point, but didn't actually manage to get a close below it. So therefore, I didn't get another entry. It is Linus, correct. Pull, pause, push. You even got it around the right way as well. Yeah. 3-bar reversal. So that is an exhaustion pattern at a low and confluence with previous resistance support, in this case, at last week's low. Limit order triggers. That's what that is. Banks and institutional orders limit triggering at the lows. Meaning, often we will come back and retest the highs. But it will only do that if the news tomorrow does not interfere and we get a massive bullish move on the US dollar because of positive news. But that is in the future. And we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see. We are forecasting a drop in unemployment as well, which is bullish. So, and we're forecasting retail sales to go up, which is bullish. So the market is going to be expecting and probably slightly factoring in a bull move. So if these numbers don't come out as forecast and they come out below forecast, I think we'll probably get a decent downward move on the US tomorrow, which obviously will unravel anybody that's got longs on. Shorts on. Well, yeah, unravel their positions like me. I'm overexposed on the US at the moment. Got way too much on, unfortunately. Anyway, right, so I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, same time as usual. Let's just quickly look at the indices. No movement so far today. So we are long and holding the open on the FTSE at the moment, but not very convincing. Short break is also holding, but again, not very convincing. So breaks are going and holding in the right directions at the moment, but there's not really much price action showing strength at the minute. I'm going to leave that in place. So this propulsion move, which is a break of that high, is also previous day's low. So that target there is good because we're probably going to find order volume there. We'll see. FTNet, I am missing the y-axis offset. Active trades on the Trade Manager dashboard, MT5. It's the lower left corner and I cannot see all the trades. I have no idea what that means. The y-axis offset. Don't know. What you mean this? That? It's a window. Trade Manager dashboard appears in a window. Yeah. So it's like an RSI. Yeah. It's a window. Right? You see these little lines here. You can grab them and move them up and down. Yeah. You just can't see them if you're using my template because it's white, but they're there. Is that what you mean? Don't know. Pass? I don't know. It is there. It works the same way in MT5. God, I'm a rookie. Well, there you go. You're not the first. You won't be the last. It's because my template is all white. If you change the background to black, you can see clearly that's where the drag bar is. But obviously you can't when it's white. That's all it is. But that's, yeah, anyway, there we go. Right, I'll leave you with 10 minutes to spare. I love my timer. We're having that in the members stream this morning as well, okay? Because we're going to try and keep it to an hour. Today is just theory. Yeah, I haven't got any live testing I can do with the EA. So today's going to be theory on hedging. And we're going to look at the various hedging strategies, the various ways to hedge and the various ways to get out of hedges, that sort of stuff. Wow, there's a really old fib on there somewhere. So yeah, so we'll look at all the theory side of things today. We'll come up with some strategy ideas, some good hedging strategies to basically test out. And then on Friday, I'll have an EA built that we can use to basically test them and further demonstrate the pitfalls and the advantages of hedging. Yeah, because there are lots of good advantages to hedging. But making it work is actually way more complex than the videos make it sound. Yeah, so all the good videos out there you've probably seen about hedging and all these guys that have got these amazing hedging strategies, they're all best case scenarios. When you actually develop them and test them, you find there's an awful lot of Achilles heels in them that need to be overcome, and they are all discretionary. So the problem with hedging is it relies on the one thing that you as a trader cannot do, which is pick the reversal point to get out of the hedge. Yeah, timing. You can't time the market. And good hedging or good hedgers are good at timing market reversal. So again, it's one of those strategies that has very good potential, but does need intervention, which is why I prefer position trading, because it's basically a simpler version of hedging. No. But we'll look at some variations and some strategies and ideas today. Brainstorm, and then we'll build something for Friday. Right, so if you're coming in the member streams, I will see you at 9 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow morning, and 8 o'clock we will have a look at what's happened with the Australian unemployment. So if you've got any profit on Aussie positions, be aware you might want to take that before the market goes through that tomorrow morning. And then we'll get prepared for the Euro rate and the US news tomorrow afternoon. So there we go. All right, so have a good day. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord. Other than that, if you're coming in the member streams, I'll see you in about 5 minutes or so. Or I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Have a good day.